Small military, 4x4s changed warfare more than most people realize. They didn't win through size, but through speed, terrain control, and smart engineering. From World War II classics to modern special forces machines, these vehicles proved mobility beats mass. Here are 10 mini-military 4x4s that outperformed full-size army trucks in the real world. Number 10. M422. Mighty Mite. Built for airborne forces that needed a vehicle light enough to be carried by helicopter, this compact 4x4 became one of the most specialized military designs of its time. Developed by American Motors Corporation for the U.S. Marine Corps, it focused on transportability more than raw power. Extremely low weight made it possible to lift and deploy it from aircraft into remote combat zones. Aluminum construction replaced heavy steel to reduce overall mass. Compact dimensions allowed it to fit into tight transport configurations. Designed specifically for rapid deployment in expeditionary warfare scenarios, small frame made it easier to maneuver in jungle, desert, and rugged terrain. Four-wheel drive system ensured traction in off-road conditions despite low weight. Simple layout helped reduce maintenance complexity in the field. Open utility design allowed it to carry light troops and equipment. Low profile reduced visibility during movement in hostile areas. Its engineering priority was mobility through air transport, not battlefield speed. Marine Corps testing pushed it into harsh environments for evaluation. Every component was optimized to reduce weight wherever possible. It represented a shift toward airmobile tactical vehicle design. Its concept influenced later lightweight military mobility platforms. Power came from a small air-cooled V4 engine producing around 52 horsepower. Output was limited, but the vehicle's ultra-lightweight balanced performance. Top speed reached roughly 55 to 60 miles per hour under ideal conditions. Independent suspension helped maintain stability on uneven ground. Four-wheel drive ensured movement across sand, mud, and rough terrain. Aluminum body construction significantly reduced structural weight. Short wheelbase improved turning ability in confined spaces. Fuel consumption stayed low due to small engine displacement. Torque delivery was modest, but sufficient for light military roles. Water fording capability allowed shallow river crossings. Ground clearance supported off-road movement without major obstacles. Manual transmission gave direct driver control in field conditions. Suspension tuning prioritized flexibility over comfort. Vehicle handling stayed predictable at low to moderate speeds. Load capacity remained limited due to lightweight design. Everything was built around airborne deployment efficiency. M422 Mighty Mite saw limited service primarily with U.S. Marine Corps units. It was used in testing, training, and specialized field operations. Airdrop and helicopter transport capability defined its operational role. Compared to full-size army trucks, it sacrificed power and protection for mobility. Its main advantage was reaching locations inaccessible to heavier vehicles. Small production numbers limited its widespread battlefield use. Maintenance was manageable but required attention due to lightweight construction. It was not intended to replace standard military trucks. Instead, it filled a niche role in rapid deployment strategy. Its design helped shape future airmobile vehicle concepts. Later military vehicles adopted its lightweight engineering philosophy. Despite short service life, it influenced modern special operations mobility. It showed that deployment method can matter more than raw performance. Its value came from being transportable, not dominant in combat. M422 remains a key step in airborne vehicle evolution. It proved that battlefield reach can be more important than battlefield strength. Number 9. Steyr-Puch Haflinger. Built for extreme terrain, where normal vehicles simply could not survive, this small Austrian 4x4 became a specialist tool rather than a general transport. Produced by Steyr-Puch, the Haflinger was designed with simplicity and capability in mind. Ultra-compact size allowed it to travel through narrow mountain paths and forest trails. Lightweight made it possible to cross soft ground without sinking easily. Instead of power, the focus stayed on traction and balance. Portal axle design gave it unusually high ground clearance for its size. Air-cooled engine kept it reliable in harsh weather conditions. Low overall mass helped it climb steep slopes that would stop heavier vehicles. Four-wheel drive system ensured constant grip on unstable terrain. Military and rescue units used it in alpine and remote regions. Its tiny frame made it easy to transport by larger vehicles or aircraft. Open and utility configurations allowed different mission setups. Simple mechanical layout made field repairs practical in isolated areas. It was never meant for speed, only survival in difficult environments. Its strength came from staying light, stable, and predictable on rough ground. Even today, it is remembered as a specialist mountain mobility vehicle. Power came from a very small air-cooled flat-twin engine, producing around 22 horsepower. That output is extremely low, but the vehicle's weight makes it surprisingly capable. Top speed sits around 40 to 45 miles per hour, depending on conditions. Four-wheel drive with reduction gearing maximizes climbing ability instead of speed. Portal axles significantly increase ground clearance without large tires. Short wheelbase allows extremely tight turning in confined spaces. Suspension travel helps maintain wheel contact impact on uneven terrain. Fuel consumption remains very low due to its small engine size. Torque delivery is tuned for low-speed control rather than acceleration. Steep inclines can be climbed at slow but steady pace. Light structure reduces stress on drivetrain components. Off-road performance is more important than road comfort. Stability remains strong even on angled surfaces. Mechanical simplicity keeps failure risk minimal in remote operations. Control is smooth, but deliberately slow in response. Everything is engineered for terrain survival, not performance driving. Haflinger saw use in military, alpine rescue, and utility roles across multiple countries. It became especially valuable in mountainous European regions, where larger vehicles struggled. Troop transport roles were limited, but highly specialized for difficult terrain access. Equipment carrying capability was small, but efficient for its size class. Air transport compatibility allowed deployment into remote locations. Compared to full-size army trucks, it offered far better terrain access at the cost of capacity. Its narrow width allowed movement where wider vehicles could not fit. Maintenance was simple enough for field repairs in isolated environments. Many units were used in snow rescue and emergency operations. Its design influenced later lightweight off-road concepts. Civilian versions also became popular for mountain farming and exploration use. Despite low power, it consistently proved effective in extreme conditions. It never competed with heavy military trucks. It operated in a different category entirely. Its value came from reaching places others could not. The Haflinger remains a benchmark for ultra-light off-road capability. It shows that in extreme terrain, size reduction can be an advantage, not a limitation. Number 8. Willys MB Jeep. World War II demanded a light reconnaissance vehicle that could handle brutal battlefield conditions, and this is where it all began. Built by Willys Overland, the MB Jeep became one of the most influential military vehicles ever created. Design priority focused on simplicity, durability, and mass production at extreme speed. Compact body allowed movement through tight terrain, rubble, and narrow field paths. Lightweight made it easy to push through mud, sand, and broken ground. Four-wheel drive gave it capability far beyond civilian vehicles of its time. High ground clearance helped it avoid obstacles on rough battlefields. Open-top design improved visibility for soldiers during combat operations. Multiple roles included reconnaissance, troop transport, and light equipment hauling. Its design was so effective that it became a standard tool across Allied forces. Soldiers trusted it because it rarely failed under harsh conditions. Unlike armored vehicles, it relied on mobility and adaptability for survival. It could be repaired quickly using simple tools in the field. Mass production made it available in huge numbers during the war. Its simplicity became its strongest advantage in battlefield environments. The Jeep name itself became a symbol of light military mobility worldwide. Power came from a 2.2-liter inline-4 engine producing around 55 horsepower. Performance was modest, but the extremely low weight made it highly responsive. Top speed reached roughly 60 miles per hour on flat ground. Four-wheel drive system allowed it to handle mud, snow, and uneven terrain effectively. Manual transmission gave soldiers direct control during difficult driving conditions. Short wheelbase improved turning ability in tight environments. Ground clearance helped it pass over rocks and battlefield debris. Simple mechanical setup reduced breakdown risks under combat stress. Fuel consumption stayed relatively low for long operational use. Suspension system was basic but effective for rough terrain travel. Vehicle could operate in conditions where larger trucks would fail completely. Light structure made it easier to recover if stuck in mud or sand. It prioritized function over comfort or speed at every level. Performance was consistent rather than powerful or aggressive. Reliability mattered more than anything else in its design. Willys MB became a backbone vehicle for Allied forces during World War II, used in nearly every major theater of the war across Europe and the Pacific. Its flexibility allowed it to adapt to countless battlefield roles. Weapon mounts and equipment racks expanded its functionality. Air transport and ship deployment made it globally mobile for military operations. Compared to larger trucks, it was far easier to maneuver in combat zones. Convoys depended on it for scouting and communication roles. Its design influenced almost every light military vehicle that came after it. Post-war, many countries continued using similar Jeep platforms. Civilian versions later evolved from its military foundation. It became a symbol of Allied mobility and engineering efficiency. Its reputation came from survival, not speed or firepower. Even decades later, its design philosophy is still studied. Modern off-road vehicles still borrow concepts from its structure. It proved that simplicity can outperform complexity in real combat conditions. Willys MB Jeep remains one of the most important military vehicles ever built. Number 7. Porsche 597 Jagdwagen. Post-war Germany saw unusual military prototypes, and this was Porsche's attempt to enter the light off-road vehicle market. Built by Porsche, the 597 Jagdwagen was designed for mobility rather than armor. Early development focused on replacing older light utility vehicles with something more refined and agile. Compact proportions gave it strong movement capability in tight terrain. Instead of heavy steel protection, it relied on light construction and smart engineering. Air-cooled engine design kept it functional in varied climates. Low weight made it easier to maneuver compared to traditional military trucks. Its layout was simple, reflecting post-war resource limitations and efficiency needs. Four-wheel drive allowed it to handle off-road conditions effectively. Military evaluation tested it in demanding terrain conditions across Europe. Driver position and visibility were designed for practical field awareness. Unlike later military 4x4s, it had a more experimental and prototype feel. Limited production meant it never reached full-scale military adoption. Competition from other manufacturers reduced its chances of standardization. Despite that, it showed Porsche's early engineering approach to off-road design. Its concept later influenced thinking around lightweight utility vehicles. Power came from a small air-cooled flat-4 engine, producing modest output for its size. Performance was not focused on speed, but on controlled off-road movement. Top speed stayed moderate, suitable for patrol and utility roles rather than pursuit. Light chassis improved responsiveness on uneven terrain. Four-wheel drive system provided traction in mud, gravel, and forest paths. Short wheelbase helped in tight directional changes. Ground clearance allowed it to pass over obstacles without heavy strain. Manual transmission gave direct control in rough conditions. Fuel efficiency remained practical for its intended operational range. Suspension design balanced comfort with off-road durability. Vehicle weight stayed low compared to standard military trucks of the era. Handling felt more like a light reconnaissance vehicle than a heavy carrier. It performed best in controlled off-road environments rather than extreme combat zones. Mechanical simplicity reduced maintenance complexity in field conditions. Overall capability leaned toward agility instead of raw strength. Engineering priority was efficiency, not battlefield dominance. Testing phase showed potential, but the design never reached large-scale military deployment. Only a limited number of units were produced during its short production window. Evaluation trials compared it against other European light military vehicles. While innovative, it struggled to secure long-term contracts. Military requirements at the time shifted toward different design priorities. Some units were used for trials, training, and limited operational roles. Its lightweight structure made it useful for non-frontline tasks. Compared to later 4x4s, it lacked power and refinement. Concept ideas influenced later civilian and military vehicle thinking. Its rarity today makes it more of a historical prototype than a service vehicle. Collectors value it for its engineering uniqueness rather than battlefield record. It never defined modern military mobility, but it contributed to early experimentation. The Jagdwagen shows how post-war innovation explored lightweight tactical mobility. Its legacy is engineering curiosity, not battlefield dominance. Porsche's approach here laid groundwork for later performance-oriented off-road ideas. Number 6. UAZ 469. Soviet military forces needed something simple, tough, and capable across brutal terrain, and this machine delivered exactly that. Production began in 1971 under UAZ, focusing on durability over comfort. Boxy styling wasn't about looks, it was about function and ease of repair. Compact size helps it squeeze through forests, narrow tracks, and uneven paths. Instead of heavy protection, survival depends on mobility and reliability. Harsh climates, from icy regions to dry deserts, didn't slow it down. Ground clearance allows it to pass over rocks and obstacles without damage. Short wheelbase improves maneuverability in tight environments. Military units used it for patrol, transport, and quick response duties. Different body styles gave flexibility depending on mission needs. Lower weight compared to large trucks improves off-road performance. Where bigger vehicles hesitate, it keeps moving steadily. Wide usage across multiple countries built its long-standing reputation. Basic construction makes field repairs fast and practical. Rugged nature earned trust in demanding conditions. Longevity proves how effective the design really is. A 2.4-liter inline-4 gasoline engine produces roughly 75 horsepower. Numbers may look small, but torque delivery matters more in rough terrain. Top speed reaches around 65 miles per hour when conditions allow. Four-wheel drive keeps traction consistent across mud, snow, and dirt. Manual gearbox gives better control during difficult driving situations. High clearance prevents the underbody from scraping on obstacles. Suspension setup focuses on strength rather than ride comfort. Fuel usage remains reasonable for long operations. Steep climbs can be handled without excessive strain. Water crossings are manageable with minimal preparation. Tight turning capability helps navigate confined areas. Simple mechanics reduce the risk of serious breakdowns. Compared to large trucks, response time feels quicker off-road. Performance stays steady instead of aggressive or fast. Grip and control define its capability more than speed. Everything works together to keep it moving forward reliably. Service extended across military, police, and utility roles in many regions. Troop transport and patrol missions became its primary duties. Weapon mounts allowed light combat support when required. Deployment into remote areas remained easy due to its size. Compared to full-size army trucks, maneuverability is significantly better. Convoys often relied on vehicles like this for scouting ahead. Lack of complex electronics improved reliability in extreme environments. Field repairs could be done quickly with basic tools. Durability made it suitable for long-term operational use. Even decades later, many units are still active worldwide. Design focused on function instead of speed or luxury. Modern alternatives may be more powerful, but also more complicated. This vehicle stayed relevant by staying simple. Speed isn't its strength, terrain control is. That advantage matters most in unpredictable situations. UAZ 469 shows that reliability often beats raw performance in real-world use. Number 5. M151 MUTT. Introduced in 1959, the M151 MUTT stepped in as the successor to the Willys MB Jeep. Built by Ford Motor Company, it aimed to modernize light military transport. Independent suspension on all 4 wheels marked a major shift from earlier Jeep designs. Handling improved significantly, especially across rough and uneven terrain. Compact structure allowed quick movement through tight and unpredictable environments. Vietnam War operations made it one of the most recognizable military vehicles of its time. Low height helped reduce visibility in combat situations. Mobility replaced heavy protection as its primary survival strategy. Multiple roles included troop transport, scouting, and general field support. Simple layout made it practical for soldiers operating under pressure. Lightweight build increased responsiveness during rapid maneuvers. Compared to larger trucks, it reacted faster in high-risk scenarios. That responsiveness often made a critical difference in the field. Quick deployment allowed units to reposition without delay. Versatile structure supported different mission setups when required. Its presence became common anywhere. Mobility mattered more than armor. The 2.3-liter inline-4 gasoline engine delivered around 71 horsepower. Lightweight allowed that modest output to feel more effective in real conditions. Maximum speed reached close to 60 miles per hour. When terrain allowed, independent suspension improved both ride comfort and off-road control. Four-wheel drive ensured steady traction across challenging surfaces. Ground clearance helped it pass obstacles without major difficulty. Short wheelbase supported sharp turns and quick directional changes. Fuel usage remained reasonable for extended missions. Early variants suffered from stability problems at higher speeds. Sudden turns could increase rollover risk if not handled carefully. Later improvements reduced this issue, but didn't eliminate it completely. Drivers needed proper control to avoid dangerous situations. Overall performance focused on agility rather than raw power. Weight distribution affected balance during aggressive maneuvers. Tire grip played a key role in maintaining control off-road. Consistent handling made it reliable in most environments. Service life extended across more than 2 decades in multiple military forces, used for patrols, transport, and light combat support roles in various regions. Weapon mounts allowed integration of machine guns when required. Air deployment made it useful in fast-moving operations. Compared to full-size trucks, it offered superior maneuverability and quicker response. Convoys often relied on vehicles like this for forward movement and scouting. Safety concerns eventually led to its gradual replacement. Large numbers were retired or dismantled to prevent civilian use. Despite those issues, its influence remained strong in military design. Future vehicles adopted lessons learned from its strengths and flaws. It wasn't perfect, but it pushed military mobility forward. Speed and flexibility proved valuable in unpredictable environments. M151 MUTT showed that lighter vehicles could challenge larger ones through agility alone. Its legacy continued through improved light tactical vehicles. Design evolution focused on fixing stability while keeping mobility. That balance became the standard for future military platforms. Number 4. Pinzgauer 710M. Developed in 1971 by Steyr-Puch. The Pinzgauer 710M wasn't built for speed. It was built to go anywhere. This 4x4 military utility vehicle quickly gained a reputation for extreme off-road capability. Instead of relying on horsepower alone, it uses smart engineering to dominate difficult terrain. Its central backbone tube chassis gives it exceptional rigidity and durability. Portal axles raise the vehicle higher off the ground, allowing it to clear obstacles easily. Air-cooled engine design keeps it running in extreme climates without overheating issues. Compact size allows it to move through forests, mountains, and tight paths effortlessly. Unlike large trucks, it doesn't depend on roads to stay operational. Military forces across multiple countries adopted it for its unmatched versatility. Crew transport, cargo hauling, and support roles all became part of its identity. Its boxy design might look simple, but every part serves a purpose. Where heavier vehicles hesitate, it keeps moving forward without drama. That consistency is what made it legendary in military operations. Power comes from a 2.5-liter inline-4 engine producing around 90 horsepower. That number sounds low, but the vehicle's gearing system multiplies torque effectively. Top speed sits around 65 miles per hour, which isn't impressive on highways. Off-road, however, speed becomes irrelevant compared to traction and control. Full-time four-wheel drive ensures power is always distributed to all wheels. Differential locks improve grip in mud, snow, and rocky environments. Independent suspension on all wheels allows it to maintain contact with uneven ground. Ground clearance remains high, thanks to portal axle design. It can climb steep gradients that stop larger, heavier trucks instantly. Water fording capability allows it to cross rivers without major modifications. Tight turning radius helps maneuver through narrow terrain. Fuel efficiency stays reasonable for long-distance operations. Everything about its performance is built for reliability over raw speed. Pinzgauer 710M proved itself in military forces across Europe, Africa, and beyond. Its ability to operate in extreme environments made it a dependable field vehicle. Configurations include troop carriers, ambulances, and communication platforms. Maintenance remains relatively simple, even in remote locations. Air transport compatibility allows deployment into difficult regions quickly. Compared to full-size army trucks, it sacrifices load capacity, but gains mobility. Convoys often rely on vehicles like this to scout and support operations. Instead of outrunning threats with speed, it avoids them through terrain advantage. This difference is critical in mountainous and off-road combat scenarios. Decades after its introduction, it still remains in active use. Modern vehicles may offer more power, but few match its mechanical simplicity. Its design philosophy continues to influence off-road military engineering. Pinzgauer proves that true capability isn't about speed, it's about never getting stuck. Number 3. Supacat HMT 400. Supacat didn't design the Jackal to blend in it, built it to dominate harsh terrain at speed. Introduced in 2008, the HMT 4x4 quickly became a backbone for British Army reconnaissance units. Unlike traditional armored trucks, it prioritizes mobility, visibility, and long-range patrol capability. Open-frame layout gives crews full awareness of their surroundings during combat operations. Instead of thick armor, survivability comes from speed, distance, and terrain control. Deserts like Afghanistan proved exactly why this design works so well. High ground clearance allows it to move across terrain that stops heavier vehicles. Wide track and long wheel travel keep it stable even when pushing high speeds off-road. Compact compared to armored carriers, yet still aggressive in stance and presence. Crew of up to 4 operates weapons, navigation, and communication systems simultaneously. Rather than following roads, it creates its own path through hostile environments. Fast-moving patrols rely on vehicles like this to stay unpredictable. Jackal redefined how modern armies approach reconnaissance missions. Power comes from a 5.9-liter Cummins turbo diesel engine, producing around 185 horsepower. That engine delivers strong torque, which matters more than raw horsepower in off-road combat. Top speed reaches approximately 80 miles per hour, even in challenging terrain. Long-range fuel capacity allows extended patrols without frequent resupply. Independent suspension system is built for absorbing heavy impacts at speed. Four-wheel drive setup maintains traction across sand, mud, and rocky surfaces. Payload supports heavy weapon systems, ammunition, and operational gear. Despite its rugged build, it maintains impressive agility for its size. Large off-road tires provide grip while maintaining control during sharp maneuvers. Compared to full-size trucks, it accelerates faster and reacts quicker to threats. Climbing ability allows it to handle steep and uneven landscapes with ease. Balanced weight distribution improves handling under load. Performance remains consistent even during long, high-intensity missions. Jackal is often equipped with heavy machine guns, grenade launchers, and defensive systems. Roof-mounted weapons give it serious firepower, despite its relatively light structure. Used extensively in Afghanistan, it became known for speed and reliability in combat zones. Troops rely on it for reconnaissance, rapid strike, and patrol operations. Air transport capability allows quick deployment into active conflict areas. Modular design supports mission-specific configurations when required. Compared to armored trucks, it trades protection for speed and adaptability. Convoys move slower and become predictable targets in dangerous regions. Jackal units move fast, strike hard, and reposition before threats escalate. That tactical advantage often determines mission success. Its design influenced a new generation of high-mobility military vehicles. Instead of resisting terrain, it uses terrain as an advantage. Jackal proves that controlled speed can outperform heavy armor in modern warfare. Number 2. Chenowth ALSV. Chenowth didn't follow military tradition. It ignored it completely and built something closer to a race buggy. Introduced in 1996, the ALSV, or Advanced Light Strike Vehicle, was designed for speed-focused desert warfare. Instead of armor, it relies on agility and unpredictability to survive hostile environments. Originally developed for U.S. Special Operations, it quickly proved its value in real combat zones. Its lightweight tubular frame keeps weight extremely low compared to standard military trucks. Open-body design might look risky, but it gives unmatched visibility and awareness in fast-moving missions. Desert terrain became its natural habitat, where heavy vehicles often struggle or slow down. Wide stance and long suspension travel allow it to stay stable even at high speeds. Compact size means it can navigate narrow paths and rough terrain without hesitation. Rather than leading convoys, it operates independently or in small, fast-moving units. Speed becomes its main defense, avoiding threats instead of absorbing them. This approach changed how military planners think about mobility in open terrain. ALSV proved that being fast and hard to hit can be more effective than being heavily armored. Power typically comes from a 160 horsepower Porsche-built diesel engine, giving it a strong performance advantage over most military vehicles of its class. That output, combined with its low weight, gives it a strong power-to-weight advantage. Top speeds can exceed 80 miles per hour, which is extremely fast for a military vehicle. Acceleration feels closer to a performance buggy than a traditional tactical transport. Four-wheel drive system ensures traction across sand, dirt, and rocky environments. Long travel suspension absorbs impacts that would slow down heavier vehicles instantly. Payload capacity supports mounted weapons, extra fuel, and mission-critical gear. Range extends significantly with auxiliary fuel setups for deep desert operations. Large off-road tires improve grip while maintaining stability at higher speeds. Unlike bulky trucks, it doesn't get bogged down in loose terrain. Quick directional response allows drivers to evade threats in seconds. Minimal weight reduces strain on components, improving overall durability. Everything about its performance is built around speed, not protection. ALSV gained serious attention during operations in desert regions like the Middle East. Special forces used it for reconnaissance, raids, and rapid strike missions. Weapon mounts allow integration of machine guns or grenade launchers when needed. Despite its open design, it becomes a deadly platform when used correctly. Maintenance stays relatively simple, making it reliable in remote conditions. Air transport capability allows it to be deployed quickly into active zones. Compared to full-size army trucks, it sacrifices protection but gains total freedom of movement. Convoys move slow and predictable, while ALSV units stay fast and unpredictable. This difference often determines survival in hostile territory. Its success influenced the development of future light tactical vehicles. Modern fast attack vehicles still follow the same core philosophy it introduced. Rather than dominating terrain with force, it dominates through speed and control. Even decades later, ALSV remains a clear example of mobility outperforming mass. Number 1. Polaris MRZR Alpha. Polaris didn't build the MRZR Alpha to replace big army trucks. It built it to outrun them. Introduced in 2020, this ultra-light tactical vehicle was designed for special forces who needed speed over brute strength. Instead of relying on heavy armor, it focuses on mobility and rapid deployment across hostile terrain. Weighing just over 3,000 pounds, it's dramatically lighter than traditional military transports. That weight difference alone allows it to move faster, turn quicker, and access areas larger trucks simply can't reach. Built for a crew of 4, it carries troops directly into zones where larger vehicles would get stuck or detected. Compact dimensions let it fit inside aircraft, like the V-22 Osprey, for rapid global deployment. Instead of roads, it thrives in deserts, forests, mountains, and even snow-covered environments. Modern warfare isn't about size anymore, it's about speed, and this machine proves that point immediately. From the moment it hits the ground, it changes how missions are executed. Low visual and thermal signature helps reduce the chances of enemy detection. Rapid insertion capability gives units the element of surprise before opponents can react. Every second saved in movement can mean the difference between success and failure. Power comes from a 1.5-liter turbo diesel engine, pushing around 118 horsepower, with strong torque delivery. That might sound small, but paired with its lightweight frame, it delivers aggressive off-road acceleration. An 8-speed automatic transmission keeps power flowing efficiently across rough terrain. Selectable 2WD and 4WD modes allow operators to adapt instantly, depending on the surface. With a payload capacity of about 2,000 pounds, it carries weapons, gear, and supplies without slowing down. Ground clearance of roughly 12 inches helps it glide over rocks, sand, and debris effortlessly. Range can stretch beyond 200 miles, allowing long missions without constant refueling. Even water crossings up to 24 inches deep are manageable without hesitation. Unlike heavy trucks, it doesn't fight the terrain, it flows with it. This combination of speed, agility, and endurance is exactly why it outperforms bulkier military vehicles. Independent suspension on all four wheels improves stability at high speeds. Consistent torque output ensures performance doesn't drop on steep climbs. What really sets the MRZR Alpha apart is its modular battlefield capability. It can be equipped with surveillance systems, communication gear, or even direct-fire weapons. Exportable power systems allow it to run external equipment directly from the vehicle itself. That means drones, sensors, or command systems can operate without separate generators. Its design supports casualty evacuation setups, turning it into a rapid response rescue platform. Helicopter sling load capability lets it be dropped into extreme environments within minutes. Compared to full-size army trucks, it sacrifices armor but gains unmatched flexibility. Special operations forces rely on this trade-off because speed often means survival. Instead of leading convoys, it works ahead of them, scouting, striking, and disappearing. In modern combat, that's not just useful, it's essential. Modular mounts allow quick reconfiguration depending on mission requirements. Field maintenance remains simple, reducing downtime in critical operations. This adaptability ensures it stays relevant across different combat scenarios. These machines proved that battlefield success isn't about size, it's about movement and adaptability. From early Jeeps to modern tactical vehicles, each one shaped how armies operate today. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like the video and share it with other military enthusiasts. Subscribe for more deep dives into vehicles, engineering, and real-world military tech.